Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, just like I said it would, the heat is rising. We're in the low 90s today. Heat advisory for the next few days. Heat indices, they're talking 100 to 110. So it's, we had a couple of days there that it was actually nice and cool for this time of the year. And well, that's come and gone, and now we're back to the hot. Speaking of hot, things are, I don't know, heating up, confusing, rumors, all kinds of stuff. From the things that's happened yesterday with Trump at the rally and being shot, just as I suspected. I said this morning that to be on guard of all of the talk, the rumors, the speculations. Yes, there's a lot of questions out there, and we probably aren't ever going to get them all answered. But we also, I don't think it's always good to be caught up in all of this. I mean, there's certainly questions to be asked. Was there a stand down order given? There's a story now that apparently a police officer that was there got up on top of the roof moments before the shooting happened and saw the shooter. The guy turned and pointed his rifle at him, and he retreated down off the roof. There's just a whole lot of stuff that just doesn't look right about it. I was, many years ago when I was in law enforcement, I actually was part of a Secret Service detail. I wasn't Secret Service. I was local law enforcement, but Vice President was coming to town, and I was the appointed liaison to work with them on scene to kind of get things going. And I can tell you from my little bit of experience with them, just seeing what happened, there was a lot of areas that was not secure, apparently. So there's a lot of questions with that. There's also a lot of questions, there's things popping up with, and both left and right people are asking these questions. Was this staged by the Trump campaign? Did they plan this? I don't know. And then, of course, I'm sure there are other things that are in the works to try to continue to keep the hype and the craziness going. And I'm not here to tell you which one to believe or to believe any at all, but there's definitely things going on, and we have questions that we're probably never going to get answers to. But the big thing that we need to remember is that there's a big game being played, folks. This is really a big psyop. Regardless of who's involved and what the intentions are, because in the end, it's being played against us. It's being played against us to get people to either vote one way or the other, or to turn their attention to something else versus this or that. And we really need to, I know it sounds silly and it sounds clichéic, but we really need to keep our minds and our attentions focused on the things that matter. I don't think it's a problem necessarily to talk about these things and to ask questions and to look into it. But it seems like a lot of people are really hyper-focused on it. And at this point, it's too early in the game to even really know what's going on. And we'll probably never fully know what's going on. But we have to understand that there's stuff being played on us, folks. It's like I said in either yesterday or today that someone had asked me right after this happened, do you think that this is all being orchestrated? I said, everything is. Everything is at this point. Everything that you're seeing in the news, everything that you're seeing playing out on the public stage, someone somewhere is most likely having a big hand in kind of moving those pieces around. And what's happening is you're seeing a bigger divide in the American people. There's already people talking about, basically doing what Trump said when he come back up from being knocked down, fight, fight, fight. There's already people talking about that on both sides, And so we're watching it all play out, and the very real possibility of maybe not civil war, but certainly the odds of increased conflict between the political sides, protests, riots. I mean, think about the protests and the riots that's happened over the last few months. What's going to happen when those start happening again? Now you already had the left. They're mad about everything all the time anyways. They're just ready to go out and cause a ruckus. But now you have people on the right saying, hey, you tried to take out our guy. And, we're mad about that. And so the clash could be even greater. It's something to think about. I also, at first, I was at least open and considering the possibility that this guy, the shooter, was just some lone deranged person. But the more I think about it, the more I analyze it, I'm not thinking that so much, because while now I might get some people disagreeing with me on this, but that's fine. I'm used to that. While a lot of people that are shooters might say, oh man, he was way far off, that wasn't that long of a shot. There's a difference between being a decent marksman and being a precision shooter. We're talking, 130 meters, 130 yards, so, roughly 400 feet. The average shooter, even the above average shooter, shooting at that distance is typically aiming for a target area of 3 to 6 inches. And so, that being said, he was dead on target. That's the difference between being a good marksman and being precision. There's a big difference. And while maybe if he was aiming here, he would have been, say, 3 inches off, he was only just millimeters off from potentially having a fatal hit. And so the point that I'm getting to is I don't think that he was that bad of a shot. Slight mistakes are made. I think a lot of people have this idea that snipers are like they are in Hollywood, and they, the first shot is dead on, take down every time, and that's not always the case. And so even though it wasn't a real long distance shot, the fact that he got that close, that's pretty good. And so my point is that we're being told it's some 20-year-old kind of, loner from school, from high school. He just wasn't anything in high school. He was picked on and bullied. He kind of looks like that. He comes from a family that apparently they're a psychologist or something like that, a teacher. So the fact that he could make that kind of shot, unless it was just luck or unlucky, at 400 feet, that's pretty good. So where did he learn to shoot like that? I mean, the average 20-year-old, even the 20-year-old that's gone through military training, that's in the Army, the average 20-year-old in the military probably couldn't make a shot that precise unless they'd gone through specialized training. So at first I was different on this, but now that I think about it, I think it was actually a pretty precise shot. I mean, just a slight bit of wind more than what he had planned, or just Trump twitching his head just slightly at that distance, even though that wasn't a real long shot, still 400 yards, on the shooter's end, the difference between here and here is just a very, very slight bit. So I'm kind of leaning towards that this guy was not probably some just lone wolf, deranged 20-year-old, that either he's someone else or he had some serious training. But there's a lot going on, and I want to encourage and caution. Encourage you to keep pushing forward, not so much out of fear and anger, because I know a lot of people are going to be doing that right now. They're going to be panic prepping and stuff and panic training, and that's never a good thing to do anything in a panic. Keep your wits about you. Keep your head focused on what you're doing. And then not to allow fear to set in. Things are going to get worse. I mean, we've been talking about that for months and years now, and they have been. They've been getting worse. We just can't allow that fact to bring us down, because there's probably more in store. Polls, I saw recent polls just a little bit ago showing that Trump now has about a 2 to 3% lead over Biden. Now, of course, I'm sure those polls are skewed and not true, but if there's any, even if they're not true, it doesn't matter. It's what they want us to know. So they're trying to say that Biden still has a chance, right? So that when Biden becomes the president again, they can say, well, the polling was close. Be vigilant, folks. stay ready. Keep your powder dry. Make sure your stuff is ready. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you're prayed up, prepped up, planned up, because we're in uncertain times, and things are too early to really say what's happening and where it's going, but the odds are it's not good. And so we need to be prepared for that. It's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.